George Kilpatrick Inspiration for the Nation. We're here with Hasan Stephens, the CEO of the Good Life Youth Foundation, and of course, we know him as DJ Maestro. So
Yeah.
this week, a salvo was launched, and I'm still bugging out about it. So if you haven't heard, Drake is suing Kendrick Lamar and the Universal Music Group because he alleges a couple of things. One, that the music is that because Not Like Us, which is a song that has gone viral, accuses Drake of being a pedophile. There's some character defamation there, and he also says that the music group suppressed or artificially inflated the spins of Not Like Us to the detriment of other songs. So, okay, Hasan, when you heard that, here's what I think. I said, okay, Drake, now you have really tanked your credibility in the music industry. That's my thought. What do you think?
So I think first of all, we have to question whether or not it's really coming specifically from Drake, right? And not his record label.
Okay.
So the first thing. But even if it came from his record label, if Drake was smart, he would have been like, no, don't do that. Take the L, take the loss and just move on, right?
Now, did
So
I explain it correctly? Because I was trying to get it all
So
together.
I'm still doing some research to find out, but I think what you pretty much explained it. So, defamation of character, which is unheard of in hip hop, right? When you're in a battle, you're in a battle. Like,
Right.
I mean, he did the same thing with Kendrick. So, like, we're not gonna go there, right? But at the same time, if you're talking about boosting sales, like, good luck proving that because that song, Not Like Us, took off and was such a big like it had a momentum that was just different and because it was a great song and so he's got to be he's got to be really on point in terms of proving that.
So, does he take an L just for even his people?
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. OD 100%. It's not hip hop. You can't claim to be the king of hip hop and then act contrary to hip hop. And there might be a little bit of toxic masculinity in that, when you're talking about, oh, we don't cry about, but that's what hip hop is, right? And so, if you enter into a battle and you lose, you take that L and you move on. Nas, Jay-Z, like I can go on and on. You know what I mean? And the reality is that hip hop is about braggadocio. Hip hop is about, you know, conflict on wax and beef. Hopefully, it doesn't get off the wax like Tupac and Biggie. But like, you can't be crying at the end saying, you called me a name. You called like no. Let's stop that.
And there, and again, this is what it's all in the press. They're also suggesting that if he perform, there's also suggestions that they're trying to prevent him from performing that song at Super Bowl, and if they do, then the NFL will be brought into it as well. What's going on here?
So that song is one of the songs. It got multiple award nominations and awards. And on top of that, it was like it lasted on the Billboard for so long, right? What happened is, unlike historical beefs and conflicts, this song spent it's like right in the spotlight for such a long time that it starts to really be a defamation of character. I don't want to say defamation of character. Let me say it has hurt Drake, right? The image that he portrays, people really start to think Drake is corny. People, and this is not helping him by doing this lawsuit, but people start to realize Drake really is somewhat of a culture vulture. He's not really of the culture. He's someone that is talented by all means. He makes hits. His music is amazing. I'm a Drake fan, but he is not hip hop, and he doesn't understand
Ah,
that aspect.
yeah, because most Def said he's popped. Would you say that?
Absolutely, I would say that he's pop.
And ain't nothing wrong with being pop, but don't try to
He's a
be
pop version of hip hop. He is part of hip hop, but
right.
he's very much mainstream pop. And the other reason why I think most Def was saying he's not hip hop is that, Drake sings, he does, dance and techno and Jersey and like Afro beats, he flips the genres and does whatever's hot at the time.
Isn't
Um
that innovation?
it is. And he can be an innovative non-hip hop person. Absolutely. But we're talking about hip hop.
Wait a minute, but isn't Kendrick doing his little thing? Isn't that a dance?
Um, I mean, Kendrick is very much West Coast. He's very much hip hop. I don't think Kendrick also is very diverse in his sound, right? But he stays within hip hop. Kendrick is hip hop. He's
Yeah,
holding the mantle right now, and
and he just
anybody
released.
that says otherwise is hating because that's where he's at.
And can you explain the mustard? Because I'm out of it. I don't understand what that is.
The mustard, you said?
There's something with mustard. I don't know where it came from.
I gotta know the reference. I gotta hear what you're talking about. That's definitely a West Coast. That's probably a West Coast thing. Just a reminder, I'm from the Bronx. I'm from New York. So there's something I'm not gonna understand everything. This album, particularly from Kendrick, was very, very West Coast. And I think he
Mhm.
did that intentionally.
Just to pay homage to the community that raised him, right? Even Snoop said he's the king now. Did he say something like that?
Snoop handed over the mantle, and one of the things that he talked about is that true kings, he said, real kings pass on the baton. They pass on the mantle, and I respect Snoop for that because that's the way to stay relevant and to stay within. Right now Kendrick is the one representing for West Coast.
Lastly, I'm gonna ask you. You talked about Drake not being hip hop, or he's a pop version of it. Where would you say we are with the music today, or at least this idea of what we call hip hop today?
Well, I think hip hop is ever changing. So like the people who will tell you like, oh, this is hip hop, and and I used to be a fundamentalist or traditionalist, but hip hop is supposed to evolve and change, right? What we want to do and make sure is that hip hop is evolving and changing with its integrity. And what that means is that big business and outside culture vultures and people that don't really they're not genuinely in it for the culture aren't influencing it in a way that was producing bad results. I think with technology and the shift and change in technology, as well as the influence of business, we start to see larger access. Like anybody can hop on and just be blow up. If you have a character, if you built a character, if you've been online and you've done content with the social media era, like anybody can be blown up and be popular, and that's a problem because then we move away from talent and we hear it now. It becomes saturated. It's overly saturated with nonsense as opposed to the real talent shining. And we're on a movement. We're moving back to we need talent. We need genuine music that's going to last, not the one hit wonders.
Lyrically, who are you on right now?
Kendrick.
Okay.
I mean, right now my top is Kendrick. Of course, always Jay-Z. If Jay-Z dropped an album tomorrow, it would go platinum, and I would be jamming it. There's a lot of other people lyrically, Dave East. And I listen to Drake. I like Drake's music. Like
But you said that. You said you're not a hater.
exactly. He's up there. You know, J. Cole. I mean, there's quite a few lyricists. We're starting to see more lyricists come back out.
What about all male you just named? What about on the women?
On the female side, ooh, I think one thing that we've seen lately is this emergence of like this female era. During the 90s and early 2000s, we saw it. Lil Kim, Foxy, like we had all these Bahamadia, like all these female artists. But now it's even exploded past that. The amount of female artists on the scene has really, really increased. The problem is a lot of them sound alike, and a lot of them are just perpetuating the same male, centric and male, egotistical perspective and view,
Right.
for the male gaze, right? And so you want to see those authentic female artists. But I digress, right? Your question, lyrically, I like Cardi, Nicki. They still hold their rank. Um, you know. I like Ice Spice just because of her style, and I don't see there's not a ton of who I love? Scarlett. Scarlett is an emerging artist that a lot of people are learning about right now, but I really really like her, and she's
Say
out
her
of the
name again.
Scarlett, and so it's Scar and then lip. She has a scar on her lip, and
Okay,
she's out of
that's
the
what I heard you
Bronx, New
say.
York.
I was just make. That's why I said say her name again. Did I hear that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I think she's dope, but there's quite a few now actually. They're starting to take their place in the world
I
of
did
hip hop.
say lastly, how is hip hop going to respond to this new political environment? Do you expect to see harder hits, or or was hip hop complicit with what we see in terms of the politics of the presidency?
Hip
Was
hop
it?
was very complicit. Hip hop was,
Mm.
unfortunately, in certain aspects, when you have people like Chef G and different rappers coming to the aid of Donald Trump, and part of it is it's almost like a predatory type situation because rappers are not versed. They're looking at it as a social media industry. Look at Trump as a social media star and a TV star, reality TV star, and look at who he's putting in place of key positions in leadership. He's talking about taking people from the anchor, news anchor and all, this is a weird time, right? So naturally there were rappers that kind of fit into the whole like, oh yeah, we're gonna go up and shout out Trump and we want something different, and Biden just did not fit with the cool, right? Not to say that Trump did either, but more so than Biden, right? Biden is aging tremendously, and on top of that, oftentimes not even able to say what he's thinking. And I think it was too late of a switch for Kamala, right?
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Because why didn't they feel her? I know, like Megan came out for her, and Cardi B, all of they all came
Yeah.
out for her, but it didn't move the needle
Well, it
necessarily.
didn't move the needle because we're still dealing with misogyny. Like, let's be real. Like, let's not.
Don't
We're
trip,
still
right?
dealing with misogyny, right? So you have these isms, you have racism and misogyny that are operating, at full mass, right? Um, I think people still have a problem with a black woman running a country. Um, and I think we saw a lot of people of color support Trump because of the theatrics. Um, and yeah, hip hop was absolutely complicit in that. Some of it was. We were divided, and I think what happens when I say predatory is that they take advantage of a group of people who is not well versed on the politics and focus primarily on the theatrics.
Yeah. It's good to talk to Hasan Stephens, DJ Maestro out here in these streets. So I wanted to make sure I got you in on this conversation while we had you, because you out here doing the good work, and of course CEO of the Good Life Youth Foundation. All right, brother, take
Appreciate you.
care. All love, inspiration for the nation.